Welcome back to National University of Health Sciences Tai Chi and Qigong Club meeting here on a very nice Friday afternoon. Today I want to pick up with what we were exploring last week with warrior's breath. I actually missed an opportunity where there's actually two forms of that breath. There's a forceful breath and gentle breath. What I was demonstrating was more in line with forceful breath. If you remember, we lined up in that wide horse stance, but we still maintain that body posture with our loose shoulders, our chest is, up, our back is flat, all our weight is still on like the balls of our feet so that we have this stable body posture. And this was we set up in, how I learned it was deer antlers, as someone referenced it last time, was it looks almost like bear paws. You pull that energy across as you breathe in, and when you're about shoulder width, you push out. And even hearing it, it's very forceful. And this is a way of almost like igniting that chi energy, igniting that fire inside. That's one component of this warrior's breath. There's the breathing aspect, but then there's also a visualization component as well. So with this, if you spend so much time pulling that energy across and then it helps. Like, you can feel it inside. You can feel it in your lungs, you can feel it in your heart. At least I do feel it even throughout my body, definitely in my hands. But what do we do if we want to maintain that energy or that psychic heat, that internal fire? We're not going to be pushing that energy out as forcefully. Now we're going to be starting to cultivate it or build it and keep it. So for the next several minutes, I want to explore different styles of Tummo breathing, or this warrior's breath, or more gentle breathing. So this, as you might learn, diaphragmatic breathing helps to push kind of your abdomen out. So if you start with your hands kind of on your hips or just above that iliac crest, and as you breathe in, you want to feel your fingers kind of being pushed aside. So you breathe in, and you want that belly round. You want it to push your hands out, because that means that you're bringing that breath down into you, as opposed to if you go, see how my chest pushes out? All that breath is up here. It's still pretty shallow. I can't do a whole lot with this breath, but if I swallow it down, now it's down here. I can hold my breath a lot longer. I can hang on to that energy a lot longer if I use my diaphragm the way it's supposed to. And in the long run, it's going to be better for your back, your neck, your shoulders. Everything's going to be better if you breathe from your diaphragm instead of using that chest breathing. So going off of this, if you remember, that forceful breath was this pull across and then this push. We can still do that exercise, but it's not that forceful kia. It's more this, you start, and much like Dr. Serlin was doing last week, this is building on. I'm constantly evolving these exercises. It's, you're pulling across, but then you slowly push out. You breathe in and push out. In and out. See, still that same gentle, it's that exercise, but instead of forcefully pushing that energy aside, I like to think of almost expanding that energy around us. Because from here, as we breathe in and then out, now we can breathe in and then push the energy this way. Now we're expanding that circle, right? We started here, now we're out here. You breathe in, almost like you're gathering that energy up. And exhale again. One more time. And exhale. And here we can expand almost like 720 degrees. We go up. But now we cascade that energy down. We've done this one before. Breathe in. Now our top point of energy is up here. So we go from this way and this way. We have this nice dome of energy around us. As you exhale, guide your hands down your body. We can go one step further with this too. As we breathe in, these are going to be long breaths. Wrap it around your body now. And as you exhale, bend and cover your legs. Wrap up. Inhale. inhale, grab, up, and let's push that one up and down. This is a way that you can use that breath to encompass yourself. We spent this time building this directionality. Now we start bringing it in and we cover ourselves with that energy. You can even go a step further than that one because we covered our legs, right? What about our arms? So this same thing with your slow motions. You inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. If it helps, you can think of this. You can scoop up on your inhale. And then exhale, release it to the earth. Don't forget this hand. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. With these, I went a little fast because I'm going through it, but I want to explore this a little bit more, even slower. We can incorporate all the things we've been talking about the last several weeks into each of these movements. It's not 1 week of Qigong is 1 week. I like to see them as evolving. So what we saw last week with forceful breath, now we're looking more at gentle breath. Now we can incorporate even some of those movements that we saw. So we've been spending this time like this. What if we were to shift our body weight, rotate our hips so they're facing this way, and step? Now my energy's here, right? It's facing this way. I can take some of those exercises we learned before, so even this one, where we were pushing, right? Now we can get our whole body involved. Before, when you're stable like this, it's almost robotic. Open up this stance. Now you have more freedom. You have more energy to play with, in essence. So now you can, on your exhale, you're breathing out and pushing, and on this inhale, and you can rock with it. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Don't want to forget this side. So let's square up again. Pivot. Step. Now we have this nice stable posture. I'm not going anywhere. I open up that space between my legs, opening my posture, my arms are wide, very relaxed. Same thing. Let's say we started on this. And let's say we exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. One of the reasons why I like these exercises or this expanding energy is I've found benefit when working with individuals with anxiety or trauma event responses or feeling triggered, is that oftentimes we feel too confided or crushed by all this weight that is surrounding us. This can be anxiety, this can be stress, this can be a lot of things. Exercises almost as simple as this looks, takes a long time to master it, at least get practice doing so. This allows you control over that space, right? I have control over this space. Anything that enters that space, I'm practicing providing distance between whatever that threat or whatever that stressor might be. I'm creating this nice safe space for myself. You can do this anywhere. You can do this in the car, you can do it in the library, you can do it at work, right before a test. There's a lot of things you can do to kind of just breathe. Breathing is important. The deeper your breaths are, the more oxygen you're getting, the more benefit you're going to get. And physiologically, your breath, or pacing of your breath, can control your heart rate. We learn so much with regards to physiology about heart rate and blood pressure and all these other things, but a lot of times we tend to forget about respiration rate. And the faster you're breathing, this shallow breath, I'm not getting oxygen there. It's just going to lead me to faint or pass out. If I notice that my heart rate is racing, or I feel as though the environment around me is provoking this anxiety response, that's where breath comes in. By slowing my respiration, I invariably slow my heart rate, and then I can lessen my blood pressure. So all these are beneficial for full body exercise as well, full body overall health. So I'll leave you with some things to ponder and think about. But I definitely wanted to explore a second part of what warrior breath can do. It's not all force, it's not all, aggressive stance. It takes a lot to have that warrior mindset, that inner or internal energy, and gentle breathing can do that as well, because you maintain what you've got, and then if you have a little extra, then you can apply it. So thank you and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Jason. Some great thoughts and really some great lead-in in many ways. As I've mentioned before, all Tai Chi contains an element of Qigong. And again, Qigong being energy work. Not all Qigong is, however, Tai Chi. Tai Chi differentiates from the standpoint that it is a dance form, essentially. It has martial underpinnings, although we practice it completely for health benefits. And so, leading in with where Jason had been, we're just going to do a couple more of the exercises that are the lead-ins that typically go with the Tai Chi for Arthritis Sun style that we have been working with. And we had initially begun with an exercise very similar to what Jason had done, but as we look down at the ground, our feet planted and approximately shoulder width, as we breathe in, we bring our arms up, our gaze comes up, and then we breathe out and allow our palms to face our body. Breathe in, bringing that energy very similar to what Jason had done. Before it gets there, breathe out, push it away. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, allow your arms to sink and your gaze to follow your hands. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breath in and breathe out. Follow your hands down. Now from here, we'd normally do another repetition of this. We've already done a bit of it, and for time expediency, we're going to move into our next exercise. It began very similarly. We breathe in, the arms come up together, and with a breath out, we're going to simply let one hand come down, and we're going to look at that palm as we now follow this on a breath in. We now breathe out. Let our hands pass on a breath out. Breathe in, follow the palm of your hand with your head. A breath out, regaining our chi ball, let the hands pass. After they pass, breathe in. Let the other hand just rest next to your hip. And down. Breathing out. Breathe in, looking at your palm. Breathe out and allow yourself to come back to center. Now the next move is very similar, and I might add there are a couple of things that in fact Jason showed today that are very reminiscent of a set of Qigong that is called the Bagua Jin, or otherwise known as the 8 Silk Brocade. It's somewhat difficult to translate this, but essentially there are 8 classic moves, and they are done differently depending upon who the master is, but they generally follow a certain pattern. Along those lines, one of the classics is a push with the hands that is to nourish stomach and spleen, the meridians. And the idea being essentially we start out and our hands again are sort of around this energy ball. We breathe in, create our energy ball, and now as we breathe out, sink slightly into your feet and push down and up at the same time. And then we breathe in, create the energy ball, and then breathe out as we push down to our side and above our head. Breathe in, create your energy ball, letting up slightly from your knees, and now breathe out, sinking, pushing towards the heaven and towards the earth. Breathe in, create our energy ball. Breathe out, push down and up. Breath in, we're going to go one more time each side. Breath out. Breathe in. And again, breath out. Breathe in and let your hands return to center and down. And again, this is part of a formal warm-up that is typically done with a Tai Chi for Arthritis class. We're slowly but surely working our way through that. And now what I'd like to demonstrate is the Tai Chi for Arthritis form. And we're going to go through moves 1 and 2, which we have previously done. And we're going to add in move 3 as well. So first of all, let me show move 3. So move 3, we are in a initially shoulder width stance, our weight 50-50 on our legs, and our hands at the end of the last move ended up right here in front of our chest, kind of surrounding that energy ball. And very similar to what Jason has just showed, we're going to breathe in and we're going to put our weight into our left leg, probably I'd say about 70% of your weight, maybe 80% of your weight, and then you're going to step slightly to the side, heel, and as your weight goes into your toes, we're going to breathe out and push our hands kind of right over the top of our toes. So let's come back to center again. And again, we're going to the right as we do this. Now, as far as the feet, just for a moment, and it's similar to what Jason showed, but just slightly different. So the weight goes into this left leg. We then pick our heel up slightly, and when we put our heel down, it's probably even with about the middle of our other foot. And when our toes go down to the ground, the front toes of the right foot now are just slightly in front of where the toes are on the left foot. So we're not really turned off quite as distinctly as Jason had been, which was almost to a 90 degree. We're more towards maybe a 45 degree with that right foot when we land with our weight. And again, we transfer our weight from this back hip over the top of the knee, but the knee does not pass the tip of your toes. Okay, so it's a very subtle shift. So back to our neutral stance. Our hands are in front of our body, in front of our chest, holding the ball of energy. Breathe in, put your weight into your left leg. We now set the right heel, breathe out, push your energy ball forward. Now from here is what is called, this is single whip that we have moved into. So from here, it is a breath in, and our weight continues to be over our right leg. let's go back to this again and just take a look at the arms for a moment, okay? Without bearing on the feet. Our arms started here. Our arms rotate to about 45 degrees. We then push the arms forward, and from here we're going to turn our left palm forward and keep ourselves more centered towards this right hand. So put these things together, and here we are, shoulder width stance, energy ball in front of our body. We're going to breathe in, put our weight into the left leg. As we breathe out, heel, toe, continue your breath out, and now breath in, and open with your left hand. The single whip has been done, as I mentioned in one of the early classes, there are 5 major families from which Tai Chi has developed over a period of time. Sun style is the most modern of these approaches, and there really is 5 different ways at least that originate the differences between how this single whip is done. So if you see single whip somewhere, say YouTube, or talk with someone and they say, oh, that's not the single whip I know. That's right. There are many different variations of this. This is Sun style single whip. The idea is essentially the same, which is we weight ourselves over one leg, and then there is this opening with the other hand. Now, interesting, and I'll just share, some believe that this idea of the single whip comes from the idea of a traditional carrying practice in China. It's called a yoke, and essentially it's like a stick with a bend in it sometimes, and they'll hang items that they'll carry, individuals will carry for long periods of time. And part of this idea for some styles is that the hand on the one side is maintaining the yoke, while the other hand is free if someone were to come along and try to do something to them. So this may be the origin of it. It's an interesting concept. Nonetheless, let's add in now move 3 to what we've already done, moves 1 and 2. I'm going to demonstrate this from the front so you can see my hands, and then I will turn so that you can follow along more easily. We start out with our heels together and our toes splayed at approximately 45 degrees in both directions. Head is suspended by a string from the heavens, and our feet are anchored to the ground. As we breathe in, we allow our arms to float up, palms towards each other. And as we breathe out, we sink slightly into our knees and let our hands come down to about our waist. We breathe in, and now step forward, left heel, toe reaching forward, and now the right foot follows, right toes, heels, and as we let our hands come in front of our chest, we now move 2, breathe in, and breathe out. We now breathe in, turn to our right, put our weight in our left leg, breathe out, heel, toe, push your weight forward, and now as we breathe in, single whip with our left hand, approximately face level. Okay? I'm going to show that one more time from this direction again so that we can see the hands. Along the lines of what Jason was speaking about, we are really trying to feel this ball of energy. Try to feel it between your hands. I described it as perhaps like a piece of metal coming towards a magnet. There are other ways of thinking about it. Jason's explanation before of being mindful, for example, of the breath is no different than the flow of the Qi, which expands in the same spherical form. The idea that as we breathe in generally 360 degrees of that sphere. So we are breathing up and down at the same time as we are breathing side to side, at the same time we are breathing front to back. So that same circularity Jason was speaking about, we want to have in mind as we are doing our Tai Chi form. Once again, heels together, feet slightly splayed, arms at your side. We breathe in, allow your arms to float up, palms towards each other, breath out, sink down, bring this energy in towards your body, breath in, and as if you are holding out a gift to someone, left foot, heel, toe, and then almost like you're teasing them, you're going to bring this gift back and bring it in towards your body and let it settle in front of your chest. Now with the breath in, allowing yourself to expand, breathe out, contract that ball, breathe in, shift your weight over your left leg, breath out, heel, toe, shifting forward, and now breathe in with your left hand now coming across the horizon. So I spoke about martial underpinnings. This is essentially the idea as you happen to be doing something, now somebody might be taking a punch to the side and you are simply blocking that punch away from you. One of the quote martial applications theoretically that is the underpinning of the origins for the Tai Chi form. We practice this strictly for health purposes as we do this now. However, sometimes the origins help us to be able to visualize better where our body should be in space. One last time from behind so that you can follow more easily. Heels together, head is suspended by a string. Breath in, allow your arms to float up. Breathe out, sinking down, bring this energy in towards your body. Breathe out, left heel, toe. Breathe in, right toe, heel. Breath out, let your hands settle. Breath in, feel the energy ball expand. Breathe out, feel the energy ball contract. Breathe in, shift your weight over your left leg. Breathe out, heel, toe, pushing your hands over your right toes. And now with the breath in, allow your left hand to open just beyond your body. Thank you all very much for your attention. I am hopeful that this has been a relaxing and yet stimulating experience for you. Tai Chi and Qigong in particular are practices that allow us to replicate certain things in terms of our physiology that are quite important to us in many, many applications. That idea of remaining focused but remaining completely relaxed at the same time. I thank you very much, Dr. Andrew Serlin, National University of Health Sciences Tai Chi and Qigong Club. Look forward to seeing you all next week.